Okay, so let me ask you something. Have you ever really thought about what a government's debt looks like? I mean, not just that one giant number they throw out, but the actual nitty-gritty details? Today we're going to dive into a pretty big mystery surrounding the finances of the state of Meghalaya. It's kind of like a transparency black hole where really important information just seems to disappear. So let's pull back that curtain and see what's really going on.
Just think about your own money for a second, right? If you walked into your bank and asked for a full list of every loan you have, your mortgage, your car loan, whatever, they could probably print it out for you in, 5 minutes? It's a totally basic, completely reasonable thing to expect.
And that right there is the million-dollar question, isn't it? If a private bank can give you total clarity on your personal finances, why can't a government, which is supposed to be accountable to millions of its citizens, do the exact same thing for us?
To figure this out, we actually have to step inside this financial black hole. We need to start looking for the missing pieces of this puzzle and see what's being kept from public view.
You see, the problem is we're only getting the tip of the iceberg. We get that one big total debt number, but the real story, the important stuff, is all hidden beneath the surface. For there to be any real accountability, we need to see what's down there. Who exactly do we owe money to? What's the interest rate? And when does it all have to be paid back?
And this slide right here, this is a perfect picture of the problem. This is kind of what a public debt ledger can look like. You might get a little bit of information, right? Like you see a loan from the World Bank or a maturity date for some borrowing. But look at all those question marks, all those blank spaces, key details, who the lender is, what the interest rate is. It all just seems to vanish into thin air.
And these aren't just one-off mistakes, It's a pattern. Huge loans from places like the World Bank aren't broken down properly. Then you have these debts from special purpose vehicles, basically shell companies for specific projects that are completely off the books, totally invisible. And even when some information is out there, it's scattered across a dozen different documents or in a format that's basically impossible for a normal person to understand. It's a mess.
So, you might be wondering, are we asking for too much? Is this level of detail unreasonable? Absolutely not. In fact, there are really clear global standards for this kind of thing. Let's take a quick look at what normal is supposed to look like.
The question is pretty simple. What information should we, as citizens, have a right to see? Well, lucky for us, we don't have to guess. There are international best practices that lay it all out.
So there's this thing called the Open Budget Standard. You can think of it like a checklist for transparency. It's like the nutritional label for a government loan. It says, for any loan, we should be able to see all of this stuff. And when you look at this list, the gap between the global standard and what's actually being provided, well, it's massive.
Okay, so you might be thinking, all right, it's messy, but does it really matter? And the answer to that is a huge, resounding yes. This isn't just about messy bookkeeping. This kind of secrecy has a real, tangible cost for everyone.
There's actually a technical term for this problem. It's called fiscal opacity. It's a fancy way of saying the government's financial dealings are hidden, which makes it nearly impossible for regular citizens to follow the money and hold anyone accountable.
And this isn't just some theory. The IMF, the International Monetary Fund, has done the research, and it's crystal clear. Governments that are not transparent, the ones with high opacity, have a much, much higher risk of defaulting on their debt. Secrecy literally creates financial risk.
And the risk isn't just about defaulting on loans. It's about something deeper, integrity. Because when the details of multi-million-dollar deals are kept in the dark, well, that creates the perfect hiding place for potential corruption, totally shielded from the public eye.
So this brings us all the way back to our main question. If the risks are so high and the global standards are so clear, why does this secrecy even exist? What on earth could they be trying to hide?
Well, according to the analysis, the answer is pretty unsettling. This lack of clarity, it's probably not an accident. It's not just incompetence. It's a deliberate strategy. It's a way to shield the government from facing tough, embarrassing questions. Questions about, I don't know, maybe some unpopular projects or loans with suspiciously high interest rates?
Yeah, let that one sink in. This fragmented, confusing system isn't a flaw in the design. It is the design. By making it almost impossible for a regular person to get a single, complete picture, the system is built to prevent any real, meaningful scrutiny from ever happening in the first place.
But, just understanding the problem is step one. The source material that inspired this whole explainer actually leaves us with a challenge, a mission, really, to take this knowledge and put it to work ourselves. So here's your mission, should you choose to accept it.
First, just ask, can you find that one single document with everything on it? Second, try to build that list yourself. Go through the budget documents and see just how many holes you find. And finally, ask that big, critical question. If being transparent is the best way to stop corruption, why would any government fight so hard against it?
And that's really the thought I want to leave you with. Whenever information is hidden, somebody, somewhere benefits from that darkness. So the final question we all have to ask ourselves is this: what, or maybe who, stands to lose when we, the citizens, can finally see everything with perfect clarity?